Hey folks, this is Rhykker, bringing you an update to the patch 2.3 Fists of Fire Monk Generator build that I presented a few weeks ago. Now, I will assume that you've already seen that video, and so we're just going to quickly go over the revised gear and skill options, as well as present a variant of this build that you can use for farming Death's Breath. Now, the first thing I'll note is that this build is the best build for pushing the solo monk Greater Rift leaderboards for non-season. For season, the Uliana monk is superior. However, the Death's Breath farming version of this build is also really great for seasons. First, the skills. Crippling Wave, Mangle. Cyclone Strike, Implosion. Mantra of Salvation, Agility. Desert Shroud, Epiphany. Now here's where some of the changes come in. The Dashing Strike rune that we're going to use is Radiance. We were going with Blinding Speed before for that extra survivability, but we're going to get that survivability elsewhere. Instead, Radiance gives us a nice attack speed buff, and we really want to be attacking as fast as possible. Next, we're swapping out Inner Sanctuary for Breath of Heaven. It has a shorter cooldown, and apart from just healing us, the Infused with Light rune will allow us to generate a lot more spirit in our Shenlong's window. Again, the way the Shenlong set works, once you reach maximum spirit, all your damage is increased by 100%, but your spirit slowly drains. So the more spirit that you're able to generate during that time, the longer you're able to sustain that window. As for the passives, we're going with Alacrity, Beacon of Itar, Harmony, Exalted Soul, and Seize the Initiative. We're actually swapping out Near Death Experience for Exalted Soul, because apart from giving us some nice spirit regen, Exalted Soul increases our max spirit by 50, which with the Shenlong set bonus, translates into a ton more damage. For the gear pieces, we're dropping in a set and speccing towards straight fire instead. You want the Raiment set shoulders, ideal stats Dex, Vitality, All Resist, Cooldown Reduction, Leoric's Crown Helm, Dex, Vitality, Critical Hit Chance, Hellfire Amulet, Fire Damage, Crit Chance, Gloves, Mage Fist, Fire Damage, Dex, Crit Damage, Crit Chance, Cooldown Reduction. That said, having attack speed on your Mage Fist isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just not the optimal choice. Attack speed does benefit this build, just not as much as crit or cooldown. For the chest, we want the Cinder Coat to further boost our fire damage. We want the Strong Arm Bracers, Fire, Dex, Vitality, Crit Chance. For the belt, we're swapping out our Vigilante belt for a String of Ears. This gives us a lot more survivability, which you really need to push those highest Greater Rifts. Dex, Vitality, All Resist, Crippling Wave damage. For your rings, Focus and Restraint, Dex, Crit Damage, Crit Chance. Pants, Depth Diggers, Dex, Vitality, All Resist. Boots, Raiment set, Dex, Vitality, All Resist Armor, though those are negotiable. And for your weapons, you want the two Shenlongs, Dex, Life on Hit, Cooldown Reduction. For our legendary gems, Bane of the Trapped, Gogok of Swiftness, Simplicity, Strength. For your cubed items, Flying Dragon, Spirit Guards, and Unity. One note about Paragon points. Paragon points across most builds for most classes are pretty standardized, but this is a case where we're going to see an exception. For this build, you want to put points into max spirit. Remember, the damage of your spirit generators is increased by 1.5% for each point of spirit that you have with Shenlong set. Alright, onto the Death's Breath farming version of this build. Instead of Fists of Fire, this is the Sage Fist build, because we're bringing in the Sages set. This set doubles the number of Death's Breath that drop for you. And with the introduction of Kanai's Cube, we burn through Death's Breath at a ridiculous pace. So the modifications in gear that you'll make from the previous version would be Sage's Helm, Sage's Boots. That'll be enough to get us the 3-piece bonus, because we're actually going to put a Ring of Royal Grandeur in our cube. Now, we still want the Raiment 2-piece bonus though, so we're going to have to swap out that Cinder Coat for the Raiment chest. And then, because the ideal Death's Breath farming difficulty is around T7 or T8, we could afford to lose some toughness and survivability in order to do more damage and move faster. So we're going to swap out our String of Ears for a Witching Hour. Dex, Vitality, Attack Speed, Critical Hit Damage. Apart from the Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube, we're also going to swap out our Flying Dragon for an Ingeom. With this build, you're basically just going to be Elite Pack hunting, and this item will reduce all your cooldowns by 10 seconds for 15 seconds after you kill an Elite Pack. That will allow us to use Dashing Strike virtually without cooldown, and very rapidly get from Elite Pack to Elite Pack. If you feel you can take the survivability hit, you can also swap out your Mantra of Salvation for a Mantra of Conviction with the Annihilation rune. That'll give you a bit more movement speed, because again, when you're Death's Breath farming, you want to maximize the amount of Death's Breath you get per hour, and so it's all about speed. Similarly, if you feel that you can lose the damage, you can change your rune on Blinding Speed from Radiance to Way of the Falling Star for, again, more movement speed. That wraps up this update. Thanks for watching. Check out these other videos, and if you enjoyed this one, share it, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders.